you can't get around not having a great O-line coach. Well, let me give you the story here on Chris Hinton before I bring him in. He's a third overall selection by the Denver Broncos out of Northwestern. And he gets caught up in the John Elway story back in '83. And everyone to this day, and we have Hall of Fame voters on all the time. From now on, I'm going to start this campaign like we did for Eric Allen. And because I'm on the board that puts all the intel together. Chris goes to Indianapolis, an organization that was going through transition. He went to Baltimore, then they moved in the middle of the night, and he got caught up in all this. You want to hear something, though? 7-time Pro Bowler. He's got more Pro Bowls than Lane Johnson. This guy's one of the best ball players in my era. I had a chance to play against him. Ron Salt, Ray Donaldson was like the greatest center I ever played against. That guy was great. And Chris just got caught up in it. But you know what he's doing now? Now he's rooting his son on. And now he's a member of the Philadelphia Eagles, which is absolutely sensational. So it's been a long time. I played against him in '87. And it was really an honor to get him on here. And let's bring Chris Hinton on now. His boy got drafted to the Eagles. Let's bring Chris. Chris, how you doing, my friend? Thanks so much for doing this.
How are you, man? Thanks for having me.
Let's start out with the most important thing. How cool is it to see your son drafted? And, as a guy who had gone through the ropes yourself and everything, and a guy who had been through the wars, to see your son achieve what he did at Michigan, and now he's a member of the Eagles means what?
Well, to piggyback what you were saying before I came on, talking about your daughter and watching her be successful, man, it's the best. I mean, because the one thing I've had a lot of people come to me and like, man, aren't you excited to have your son? I was like, you know what? To have your kid be able to accomplish something that they set out to do. I mean, it just so happened it's the same profession that it chose me, and it's the greatest thing.
Chris, my uncle was Andy Robustelli, and I think having a professional football guy that helped guide me through, because there's so many roads that you can take and not know the journey. For you to get on and getting in a routine is one of the most important things, getting into a locker room. How important do you think that is for Myles now that he grew up in that system with you knowing, and he can ask you questions in college? What's going to happen here when you get to the Philadelphia Eagles, when you got a guy like Stoutland? How important do you think that is to have that as a background, being grown up in that?
The neat thing about it is there's a fine line between being the super dad versus just being dad, pops. And I think that both of my boys, they enjoy me just being dad. But every once in a while, they'll go into the football aspect and ask questions and bounce things off me. And so I sit back and wait, and typically they come around and ask questions, and it's important. Like you say, if you were a doctor and your dad was a doctor, it'd be cool to bounce stuff off your dad. So,
Chris, how do you balance that? How do you balance? Because to me, I let my wife have the voice, because if it comes from me sometimes, I'd be like this. Well, I don't know. That looks terrible. And I mean, my wife's like, no, we're not going there. So I'm working on balancing that. Is it tough for you to balance that too? Because again, you don't want to go, no, man, you got to slide that foot left side. You can't let that guy get you out. And then you go, wait, I got to be a dad here and let this thing roll here. I mean, is it tough?
Yeah, it is, because like going over to Ann Arbor for games, and after the game you go out for dinner, and it's like, oh man, it's like things that I watched during the game. It's like, oh, we're gonna talk about that step. We're gonna talk about the guy, the tight corner. But then you forget, you remember that, hey, your pops, and they want to enjoy the family moment, having dinner, and not talking football between courses. So it's tough.
First, I think the toughest thing had to be when you're looking at that Michigan uniform on your kid there. And I mean, I don't know about you, man. I mean, them battles going up there to Ann Arbor,
Right.
man. I don't know, Chris Hinton. I mean, I don't know how that'd be like my kid playing for the Gators. I don't know how that's going to work.
I know I don't think, I think I can now get back to Evanston and pull out all my old purple stuff now that the boys are gone out of college. So, but it was neat. Just kind of crazy how things happen. And my first college game was at Michigan when Northwestern played in 1979 at Michigan. So,
hey, Chris, your son, talk to me about what. And again, I think Stoutland's the best offensive line coach. I don't know what you think. I think him and Callahan over in Tennessee, there's a couple other guys in the league. And when you have a guy like that, a McKendrick, or guys that you and I know, Alex Gibb, people like that have been really known for being a great developer of talent. For you, what do you think your kid's going to bring to this team? And what do you think that Jeff Stoutland will get out of your son? Because there's an opportunity at right guard for him to roll in there, and because of his physicality and his size, what they did with Micaiah Becton last year, that looks like a role that could be carved out for him.
Exactly. That's a great question. Going into the draft, I wasn't, sure you want your kid to be drafted high, but more importantly was that he ended up in the right situation. And you couldn't have asked for a better situation. You got a great offensive line coach, and I've been full board study on Stoutland U, and I'm like, wow, this dude is serious. And because I've been a little detached from professional football, watching a lot of college stuff over the years, but I think the one thing with Myles, he needs a coach that's a developmental guy who can take him, because a lot of the pieces that are there already that you can't coach or teach, size and athleticism, and he has it. And I tell him, I'm like, man, I see some of the things that he does that I couldn't do. And, some of his balance things. And so it needs some honing. And so that's why it was important that he ended up in a good situation where he's got some good tutelage. And I think Coach Stoutland it's a great situation for him.
I got to tell you this, Chris, that I didn't know until the D-line coach went to Miami, and I asked him this. This is one of the greatest teaching tools I've ever heard, because you and I know when you're a first or second team guy, you're going to get reps. First team guy gets the most. Second team, third team guy is usually a scout team guy giving opposite looks. This guy does this in his developmental for all players, and this is why you never see a drop-off when they drop a guy like last year, Fred Johnson in, or Tyler Steen. He takes the first, second, and third team guys, Chris, and they get each amount of reps, no matter if you're the first team or second team or third team guys throughout the week, so that when the game comes, it's not overwhelming to you, and that you feel engaged, that they're developing you. He's developing you on the fly with Lane Johnson. He'll get as many reps as Lane Johnson will throughout game week, which to me,
that's unheard of. That's unheard of. And so, and I didn't know that, but like you pointed out, typically, a backup guy, he's, like you said, potentially just a scout guy, never seeing the other side of the ball. So that's unheard of. That's great to hear. It's part of the development. And so I couldn't be more excited about where he ended up.
And how important is it to have two Pro Bowlers and a Hall of Famer on each side of him? You got Lane over on the right, and you got Cam, who they're developing into being an all-pro center themselves. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why Becton also had a great year a year ago. Plus, you have Barkley that's running the ball. You had Eric Dickerson. I mean,
exactly.
dude, your O-line with Ron Salt, we'll get to that in a minute here, but when you have guys like that on each side, that has to help also too, right, Chris? When you've got great players on each side of you?
Oh, yeah. Especially, if he gets an opportunity to play some guard, I mean, what better situation than to have like some all Pro Bowl players to play next to each other. So I'm tickled pink. I'm excited about it.
Chris, I want to get to you now. And I got to tell you, man, you've been one of the most disrespected guys in the history of the National Football League, because I don't know how you can sit there and I see guys go into the Hall of Fame with lesser credentials than you. And it always gets painted that you were a failure somehow in this because of the Elway trade. And here you are, a 7-time Pro Bowler. You were one of the elite tackles of your time and one of the best of your time. And it's kind of like overlooked. And you have such a great demeanor now. I just wonder, I mean, doesn't that ever, because I never hear your name brought up, and I hear all these guys, Jacoby, you're better. Yeah. I mean, no disrespect to Joe. Joe, God rest his soul, great player, but doesn't it bug you that you're the guy in the Elway trade and that you also overachieved and you also lived up to your number 3 drafting?
Yeah, every once in a while, I'll go in a deep dive and do a comparison. I'm like, am I missing something? Because I don't want to be that guy who sits around saying I should be. I'm like, am I missing something? And then, you're not. I pull up, and not only did I make 7 Pro Bowls, but in 8th year I made All Pro, but didn't make the Pro Bowl. So 8 years I made the Pro Bowl or was All Pro at 4 different positions.
Come on, man.
Left guard, left tackle, right tackle. I made Pro Bowl or All Pro at all 4 positions.
8 times.
So yeah, it's and unlike other positions where there's statistics where you can argue. I mean, it's sometimes I get lost in the wash and the fact that you didn't play. You didn't play in the Super Bowl, which for me, I say that's even more reason, because it's easier to get props if you're on the Super Bowl team, and especially back in when we played, where it was like regional games. Nobody saw your game on the West Coast when you were playing the Eagles, or so. Yeah, it's. I might go up there on the stage like this, but maybe one day, man.
Yeah, but I mean, 8 times a Pro Bowler, All Pro involved in that, and you're not in the Hall of Fame. And I see guys with lesser resumes go in. Do you really think that this all goes through because of the Elway trade? And this is the number 1 reason why. I mean, Chris, come on, man.
I think that's part of the reason.
Your resume is so stupid great. It's beyond. I mean,
I was the first rookie offensive lineman ever to make the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. So, every time you're opening your mouth now, I'm getting more insulted now here, okay? I mean, that's crazy.
Because typically, Hall of Fame, they like to have something along with your name first or only. And I kind of feel that, those categories. But I think, again, to your point, we're talking about when we played, I mean, guys didn't, reporter on the West Coast would never see a Indianapolis, Miami game or something like that. So, whereas now it's a little different. I think the guys who are voting are a little more informed than they were when the process started for me. So,
well, I gotta tell you, I mean, is there any regrets you have? I mean, was the regret I mean, because think about this. I mean, if you go to Denver, I know Elway wouldn't have been there. He'd have been in Baltimore / Indianapolis, whatever. If you had gone to a different situation, if you had been in something different, is that your only regret? Do you have a regret because your career was so electric? I mean,
Still, I have no regrets. You know, I was a kid that played at Northwestern. We were 4-40 in my 4 years. I played tight end my junior year. I played 1 year at offensive line my senior year. So for everything to have happened, man, I was truly blessed. You know, it was, and it's kind of cool because, you know, my boys now like realize I mean, before they you know,
yeah.
Your pops. It's like
yeah,
now
when they start playing the position, they get
right.
it. They go, "Hey, Dad, I get it now."
Exactly. So that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing now. So,
boy, I tell you, man, I got to, Chris. This has been great because I've only played against you. I've never spoken to you before, and you know, you look down at, like I said, your resume, and you see the people, and like I'm on a panel that, you know, we put names together each year, and I don't ever remember your name being on any of those things, man. I mean, I don't think you've ever been considered.
It's crazy. Now I'm in the senior category, but it's all good, man. I had 13 awesome years. I played with some great guys, like you mentioned, Ron Salt, Ray Donaldson. I mean, like you say, he's another guy.
Oh yeah.
You know, who just
best center I got to tell you one story about him. So we're playing against you in the RCA Dome and in '87. Dickerson, I knocked the hell out of him. He gets up, folks. Don't worry about it. He went for 187 in that game. Okay, he went for 187. They had Ron Salt, they had Ray Donaldson, and they had Chris, of course, and it was they had Randy Dixon on that line. I played against in college too. So. I got to tell you, so my first game, I had never seen this. Ray's doing his head. He's doing his head juke on me, and I'm falling forward and shit. And I'm going like, after the game, I'm shaking my head, man. This whole line was just absolutely littered with veterans, and they knew everything what to do. So I'm walking off the field. Ray comes up to me, and he goes, "Get off the ball." Crowding you. He goes, "Get off the ball. Move back a little bit." Because this guy was 6'5", 6'6", 320 pounds, and he moved like he was a receiver.
Oh.
I mean, and I'm going like, man, I get him the next year, and I play against him. I have like 7, 8 tackles on him. And he goes, "You moved off the ball." And he goes, "That's a great game. That's a great job." And he patted me on the head, and I was like, damn, that's exactly what you get. And I'm so happy that, you know, I got a relationship with him. But man, that guy was a great football player.
You know, my rookie year, you know, I played guard, and you know, playing next to him, I mean, there was no better situation to come in and play next to Ray Donaldson. So
absolutely. So we're going to see you in Philly this year?
Oh, you know,
I want to tell you something compared to our time. Ready? Real quick?
Go ahead.
I can't remember the last time that a kid that was drafted for the Eagles didn't make the team.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember, and now remember something with us. We only had 47. 71 guys now make a team with the practice squad. Exactly. And I got it. Hey, Chris, you and me would play 28 years. They had 71, right? We'd be playing 70. And so, like, I don't remember the last time the Eagles, when they draft a kid, that guy didn't make that team the first year. So you're right. He got drafted to the best situation.
I think that's a reflection of the work that the scouting department puts in, and the personnel guys. I forget about it. You know, but like you said, you know, based on what those guys do now, man, we could still be playing.
Absolutely.
What they're being paid.
Oh. Hey, man, them scout team guys are making $200,000. You're like, I mean, hey, what's going on here, man? Hey,
still, I'll tell you a funny one. my rookie year, I was the highest paid player on the team. My base salary was $200,000.
No way.
The highest paid player on the team. Randy McMillan, Curtis Dickey, the running backs made less than me. And just shows you how times have changed.
Well, hey, my uncle played 17 years in the league, Hall of Fame career.
That's crazy.
I signed for like, I don't know. I think I got like $300,000-400,000 grand or something like this. My uncle goes, I had a 17-year career, and look at you making all this money now. And I turned to look at him and I go, yeah, but you played when you rolled your helmet up, put it in your back pocket.
The leather helmets.
And now we're talking like that. Hey.
To your point, whenever somebody says, don't you wish you were playing now? I was like, man, I'm glad I didn't play 20 years before I did. You know, where guys were looking for a job during the off season to make ends meet. So, hey,
real quick, are you in good health?
I am. I got all my original joints and no replacements, and I walk anywhere from 7 to 8 miles a day. So no, I'm not bad.
You still got a play left in you?
Every time I see a contract, I say.
You know, we still do it, right? Hey, I got one in me.
Saving that one.
Hey, I'll give it one. Make sure it's third down.
Right.
Chris, thank you so much for doing this. I hope we can do it again. And congratulations to your son on being drafted to the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he's in great hands with Jeff Stoutland, and I think we're going to see some great things, man, with your son. I liked what he did up at Michigan, and I think there's going to be some good things for him. I appreciate you doing this so much, and thank you so much. Absolutely. Thank you, Chris.
All right, brother.
You got it. That is my brother, Chris Hinton. Absolutely. Folks, did you hear that? 8 times All-Pro or Pro Bowl. And that guy's not even been considered for the Hall of Fame. I put the list together. I think it's the most disrespected thing I've ever heard. I mean, this guy's more accomplished than Lane Johnson. Do you understand that? He made the Pro Bowl in his rookie year. He's the first rookie to make the Pro Bowl at the offensive line in NFL history. 8 times he's been a Pro Bowler or All-Pro. 3rd pick overall. Shows you how guys go through the cracks. And it really is over this Elway trade that happened. Because when you hear Chris Hinton, his name's in that trade. And everyone always goes like this. Take a look at the 83 draft. The 1983 draft is the greatest draft in the history of the National Football League. Okay? Sills, other than game, what is the shock to your family, social and personal, when you make the jump from the NFL? What made it possible for you to navigate it versus other players who find it hard? You know what you have to do, M. Reyes? When you get drafted, you have to gravitate to a player that has been in the league a long time. You guys, I don't know if you know the name Marvin Powell. He was on the Bucs. And Marvin had been one of the greatest offensive linemen of all time. I started watching. And the first thing you have to do is get into a routine. What do they do to prepare themselves to play in this league and play a long time? It took me too long to figure that out. Because when I got to Dallas and I saw how Ed Jones did it, I was like, now I got it. But I got it too late. Then I got sick. But I started seeing it. You have to get into a routine. I show up at 7:40. I show up at 6:38. I get treatment. I work out. I go get taped. I walk into my meeting room. I bring my books. We go to position meetings. Then we go and have lunch. Then we go out and we practice. We come back. We watch tape on the upcoming week. You start to get into a routine. The guys that get into that routine are the guys who make it. The guys who are all over the place are the guys who get lost quick. Those are the guys that don't make it. You have to have, as Nick Saban said, the mental makeup and the discipline to be able to understand that quick.